Greetings, everyone. I'm here. Pumpkin shirt, jack-o'-lantern shirt. So, I don't know. Maybe I should get a DioWarriors shirt, big, huge, alien in black silhouette. That'd be interesting. Something that stands out on the videos. Who else? You know, who else would be doing something as loud as that? Or maybe a shirt. A hat. Instead of gray, it should be orange or something like that. So, anyways, I started this yesterday. There's a satellite based on this. This one I'm still working on. The idea is going slow. Where I left off on it is the weapon design, and I wanted to use my weapons that I have already on file, but they were not just. It wasn't really coming out in the same aesthetic as I was hoping to for this. So I'm trying to do something different. So that means the ideas have to flow, and right now the ideas are not flowing. I'm just swamped with all sorts of stuff. So I've been trying to break through a creative, like a writer's block, a creativity block. And so I've been trying to get myself into different projects, just here, just there, just enough to get the creative juices flowing. And where also I need to finish up is how to do the bottom part. But this is the basic idea for a series of weapon platforms for planetary assault or defense and things like that. So you'll see one that I started yesterday that I'm using the basic design for this, the basic shape, although some parts will be different. And of course, the turret part will be different. Computer, reduce volume. And I got background music going on. So I kind of hope, computer, stop. Kind of hope, I guess I shouldn't do a video with background music like that because, who knows what YouTube and all that will pick up. But anyways, so this is the basic idea. The turret is going to be the same in the sense of the same kind of style, but things that mount onto the turret will be different. And I'm liking this particular design because it opens up a lot of possibilities. For example, okay, an easy idea is this one with some sort of laser type of weapon. But the laser type weapon can be changed to different kinds of lasers or different kinds of looking lasers. Instead of having a laser in the middle mounted like this, you could have some sort of sensor thing in the middle and two laser weapons mounted on either side. So you could have, let's see, do I have one here that I can show real fast? I do not have one right here, but I think I do have it over on this side. Let me get something to show. Well, not quite the right size, but this is for the Phalanx that I have that I kind of paused from, but I have a small version of this Phalanx part. So the small dome. So this is oversized, but you can imagine a smaller half-height dome, mounted somewhere in the middle. We have some sort of, orbital satellite communication, or maybe like some other planetary communication system that links to another satellite that has satellite equipment for orbital communication. And you can have a weapon or something in the middle or some other thing. You could also replace the turret part with a platform for a manned unit, some sort of grill platform. A person stands behind a weapon of some sort. Or it could be with missile pods. You got some, large boxy looking missile parts on the turret to pivot up and down, things like that. So I'm working on little bitty ideas like that using this particular body. It's turning out to be extremely flexible in terms of the different designs. On this design that I'm going to show the screen for, I'm not going to be doing these cylinder things on the sides. Instead, it'll be a little bit different, trying to give the weapon area a bit more freedom for movement and pivot. I want the weapon to be able to pivot down and have a better clearance from doing that. The other thing too is you can, with this particular design, and I'm going to capitalize on this, is you can remove the legs, for example, and have a second half, like the top part, but mirrored on the bottom. So then you end up having something that's appropriate for an orbital satellite as a gun platform, some sort of weapon on the bottom, some sort of weapon on top, or communications on top, something on the bottom. And the thing can be, orbiting a planet and bombarding the planet with weapons fire, or something along those lines like that. Something big, a big weapon, smaller weapons on top. It's a very flexible design. So this is something I'm going to be trying to mass produce as much as I can, the parts for, and then using the body as a common piece, and making the turret part modular, or at least design modular. We'll see how maybe it'll be wise to have like a screw where I can mount the different weapon systems on top, and then simply screw them in to secure into the turret. So that way a customer could buy, like, for example, the satellite, and then mix and match different types of turrets simply by screwing or unscrewing, rather than glue or requiring some sort of snap-on. And unfortunately, 3D printing stuff, unless it's going to be something flexible, doesn't really play well for snap-on. There's a lot of wear and tear, and when you snap on something, and snapping on, snapping off a lot, like, for example, you're customizing and you're trying this, trying that over and over and over, it's going to wear down the pieces. So I'm thinking a simple screw, 2 screws, secure the part in, and that should be sufficient for semi-permanent replacement, because once it's screwed in, it's not going to come off until you unscrew it. So anyways, and then I still have to figure out how I'm going to do the ending part here, the bottom part. Maybe some sort of dome, hexagon dome or something like that. This stuff should be enough to, to have the thing land on the planet and stay there. There's all sorts of other stuff too. I was thinking for the VSS, you can remove the legs also and have a different kind of leg for attaching to the outside of the VSS. This design also plays well with an arm sticking from the side of the VSS to support a gun platform on the sides as well. And doing the same idea of mirroring, you could have the top and the bottom part. So this is going to be something I'm going to be doing more of. And you can see I got the feet on there, kind of a bit oversized, but it looks fine as, something that's durable. I guess you can, let me just move the camera down a little bit. Yeah, you get to see that. Move the mouse away. So, the thing, looks like it will work for multiple projects, multiple styles. So this would be something that I would sell under the conspiracy label. And as if you don't know, DioWarriors is working hard with third-party designers to design a series of very high-tech aliens and astronauts. And it's gonna, the style and everything is going to fit in with the style that we do on the props and the vehicles, because we do have some ideas for vehicles that will be what happened here? The vinyl is not all the way through on this one. Interesting. I just noticed that. So I gotta put a vinyl tube inside and cut it the right length. Yeah, the other ones are okay. So yeah, so we do have some vehicles that are in the same style, and those are in the works. Everything is being thought of in terms of a modular type thing, similar to an acid rain style, where you have a vehicle that you can, in acid rain, I'm sure you've seen like a command vehicle, a tank, things like that, especially in the concept stage. And I guess you could think of it like the old style West with a wagon train. You can circle the wagons, put structures, empty wagons or something as barriers in between the open spaces, and the safe zone is on the inside. So so you can have like multiple vehicles and do a similar concept where you put barriers in between, and you have your mobile base set up with protections and things like that. So I'm thinking along those particular lines for vehicles, and I'm thinking of vehicles that you have like the cockpit section, then you have the cargo section. The cargo section being whatever, laboratory, cargo bed, a truck type thing, and then an end section, which would basically be like the mirror of the cockpit, but for the rear. And that could be for whatever as well, a door or something. And if you want the vehicle longer, you just add more cargo sections. So that's where I'm beginning to lean towards. And so those are designs that are in the works. But like I said in the beginning of the video, I've been facing a lot of creativity block, so kind of like a writer's block. So I'm trying to do little projects here and there to kind of force my way through. And so this is one of those projects. And I think it's working because I'm beginning to feel the creativity coming back. And so with that said, I'm going to switch over to the CAD part, just to give a small little show of the current thing that's going on for that satellite. I'm in the mood on working on it, but I'm not sure if anyone is really interested in watching me work on it. So I'm going to switch over to the comments, because I see there's a comment there. Oh, hey, greetings. Thank you. Yes. And let's see. Put the comments for everyone to see. Me too. It's going to be exciting. It's going to have, I think when it comes to conspiracy, I think one of the big selling things is, the selling points is that it's not just figures, or it's not just figure gear. We're also backing it up with vehicles, props that are beyond simply a gear, or for example, beyond simply a diorama, floor and wall. You can do a lot with a floor and wall, okay? Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to shoot anything like that down. It's just that in my mind, when I think of space, I'm not necessarily thinking of a large base. I'm thinking of a scene, small scenes, where you have an astronaut trying to survive, or you have a group of astronauts on patrol, the exploring part, since we will be having aliens with ours, perhaps it's a laboratory type setting, and the aliens are being recovered from some crash site. So it'll be nice to have vehicles, equipment appropriate to recover aliens from a crash site. So, something more than simply pitching a tent or something like that. I guess you can say, we're basically looking at the concepts of the astronauts being mobile. So they go to a planet and they can move around and not just have a fixed base. So vehicles are being considered where, let's say, for example, a vehicle is this size. Okay, let's say, two figures side by side. But wouldn't it be nice if you can put another vehicle next to it and then link it somehow? So then you end up having a larger area inside. Even if that vehicle doesn't have to be rolling around, it's just parked. You have other smaller vehicles for exploring, supply, delivery, patrols. But you have a temporary base set up between two vehicles. And maybe one vehicle can be optimized for satellite communication. The other one could be optimized for, I don't know, planetary communication. One with very high-powered, communication arrays, another one with other kinds of sensors or whatever. And then you have other satellite vehicles that patrol around, defense, whatever. It'll be nice to come up with some sort of platform, that you can take outside and put it on some sand. And that platform can have a SpaceX-like rocket or something kind of like based on that little gun platform, but a larger version where astronauts can be inside some sort of lander. And we do have that currently in design also, very early, but it's kind of like a larger version of that. So, and we're trying to make it into, the biggest hurdle is, well, besides printing the parts, because time, the biggest hurdle is trying to make a mobile lander that has multiple floors. So it's not just all the figures in one level. You want to have an area where obviously it's for equipment, okay, survival. Like, for example, one of the early experiences that I had when we first started DioWarriors was talking to my brother, okay, and I was just brainstorming different ideas, and one of the ideas came up with something like an APC, an armored personnel carrier. So we were looking into all sorts of different types of designs for them. And now my brother's a very talented mechanical engineer. He can design vehicles, he can design whatever. And it comes easy for him because he's been doing it all of his life. And so, but I'm the one with, doing the toy vision, you can say. So he does real world stuff. I'm taking it from the point of view of a toy collector. Well, if you take a vamp, or you take a his tank or something like that, or some other vehicle, and you design the engine compartment, it's agreeable. It's not like a model kit where you design the engine block and you put the cylinders in and you put all sorts of other stuff to it, and you connect pieces that look like hoses and you put that into the engine area and you connect everything to make it look like it's part. So when it comes to a toy design, we just have a greeble that looks like an engine block. All it is just a flat piece, and it fits into the engine area, and it's just a bunch of bumps. You put the vehicle upside down, and you just see it's a bunch of, cavities where the engine, would be, but nothing there. So it's a big exercise in make-believe. So that's a difference between a model and a toy. And so one of the early things that I was talking with my brother about is placement of where you're going to put the engine in something like an APC, where you don't want to have it too much off the ground, but you don't want it to be like a Russian APC where the Russian troops are all, sardined into the troop area. You want to be able to have some comfort, but where's the engine going to fit? It's like, okay, well, you're designing this thing. Where's that engine going to go? So I was thinking, like, it'd be nice to make the floor area a little bit thicker, so it's like a school bus, where you could have parts of the engine under the floor, kind of thing. But it got to a thing where it's like, this was early on. Okay, we only had like 2 printers and things like that. So the idea was like, oh man, that's going to take forever to print just one vehicle. You got to print the insides, the outside, the engine area. That's going to take forever. So we were thinking, it's magic, doesn't need an engine, that kind of thing. So we were settling like that. But for me, it was easy to just imagine this is where the engine's going to be, and then end of discussion. But for him, it was a challenge. The engine's got to fit somewhere. It's got to be somewhere. How is this thing actually going to move if it doesn't have an engine, or if the engine is like this big and you got to, it's got to be believable. So it's a real struggle sometimes when you're designing a vehicle, because it's like figures don't fit in a true to scale vehicle model. Like there's lots of places where you can just simply download a model of a vehicle, and if you just print it as is, and you try to put a figure inside, the figure's not going to fit. It's like you go to Costco or Sam's and you buy one of these die-cast 1/18 scale Jeeps or something like that, and you bend the figure to fit in. The figure's not going to fit in too well. The steering wheel doesn't really move. You move it out the way somehow or something, and then finally, it's like the bottom part of the figure's legs don't really fit well for fitting in the area where the pedals will be. So you end up having to either like cut a hole or disassemble the figure so they can fit. And so so it's those are placement of things like engine greebles and stuff is a thing, because you want to make, if you're not targeting children, you're targeting the adult collector like we are. You're asking the adult to suspend belief to a certain point, and you don't want to go too much on suspending that belief, because then it's no longer enjoyable for the adult. And because when an adult collects an action figure or start putting together a diorama, they're not taking the same point of view as a child, where a child will easily pretend, but the adult is not going to pretend so easily. And the adult will be more forgiving, but it's gotta earn that forgiveness, and else the adult is going to shop around elsewhere. So that's a big thing. So anyway, I just want to show a little bit of what that satellite platform looks. So the first screen, let me share the screen. The first screen most likely is going to show a part that I was currently working on, because I was working on it right before the video. Did I select it? Yeah, I selected it. Okay. We'll hide. Let me switch over to StreamYard again. Browser right here. Okay. Oh, hey. Hey. Okay. I'll catch you later. Thanks. All right. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you later. Let's see. So, yeah. Okay. So let's see. Going back to this. Let me switch over to SolidWorks. And I don't have the model up there, so let me open that up. Open recent. Planet Lander. Yeah, okay. So this was the assembly that I worked on yesterday. I had a dentist appointment yesterday. Also, rebuild. I went in for crown on the day before, so on Wednesday, and then I wanted them to kind of do a different adjustment with it. So they remade that crown. So I just went in for 7 minutes yesterday. That's all the time it took for them to put that thing in. And but in the meantime, in the morning, I was like all fired up. I'm going to work on something. So I was just putting this together really, really fast. And this is as far as I got. So this is a Phalanx type dome. Let me. Where's the one that I just had? Oh, right here. Okay. Let me switch over to StreamYard again. So let's see. So this is the Phalanx, that's the full-size one that I was working on, and the one you see on screen is a special version that is about half the height. So it's about like this. Well, something like that. It's about half the height. The dome is a little bit improved. So this is a special version for basically quicker to print. That was the main driving force, and being quicker to print, I can print more of them. And the idea is that being smaller and thus quicker to print, you can print more. So I can end up making some sort of communications array or some sort of sensor array for the VSS. So one of the later projects for the VSS that's planned down the line are for sensor towers, things like that, or things to be mounted on the side or the top, and you end up having domes of different sizes for different things, radar domes, communication domes, whatever. Some of them are going to be bigger, taller, wider. Some of them are going to be semi-domes, where the dome is not there, but the body part is, the cylinder part is. And so that was going to lead to a collection of different types of sensor stuff. So at the moment, I'm kind of borrowing that for this project, and I'm wondering if I can use that particular dome as a small version of a Phalanx that could be mounted for planetary defense. And I think it can. So let me just move these things around and rotate the model for your enjoyment. And so let's see. So these parts here, these things on the sides, I'm going to use them again because they printed well. But the they're going to be for different things. I may make a cylinder, an extension for the bottom part where I could put thrusters on the bottom and have hose type attachments for equipment and gear underneath the satellite rather than on the side. And I'm thinking the stuff off the side, maybe that could be solar or extra armor or something along those lines. By the way I'm thinking about armor for this is not your typical, massive steel plate, but I'm thinking, I got two thoughts on this. First of all, I'm thinking of a ceramic type, reactive armor type thing. So you have a sheet of some sort of ceramic, well, not ceramic necessarily, but some sort of hybrid material. A thing, for example, with concepts for sci-fi armor concerning 3D printing. Let's say you're using 3D printing to manufacture future armor. One of the ideas is to do like a high-tech chainmail. So our astronauts, for example, use a high-tech chainmail. So you could take a same high-tech chainmail concept and apply it for a vehicle or for some other structure. So the idea is you can manufacture, hexagon plates, small size, and you can chain them together, and they can go over surfaces. They can drape over like fabric. The thing is that you can do it in such a way where you can try different technologies. You can have the bottom part of a simple metal, so it's not too heavy, for example. You could have, let's say, for example, an aluminum or some other. But then you could have other things on top. Or maybe it could be a type of metal armor, but it could be like, no, I'm getting off the point. But instead of being solid, it could be a mesh. You could try other things like a layer of ceramic, a layer of gas-filled glass plates. For example, I know like when you do a periscope for a tank, there's multiple chambers inside that periscope where they're trying to protect the person looking through that periscope. So lasers are a common thing on the battlefield. Well, you can negate the laser by having the laser pass through certain gases. So, for example, if you're using a CO2 type laser, which probably is not going to be for military, well, you go through some sort of gas that's going to negate that CO2. If you're using lasers that's based on a different technology, you can use other types of gases to negate that. So you end up having chambers of multiple gases inside inside that periscope. So that way something along those lines will negate that particular laser. So that's one strategy. So I'm thinking like, okay, if in conspiracy the astronauts are going against other astronauts, maybe they'll be using laser type weapons. So we want to have armor that's going to negate that. Well, what if you're using projectile weapons? Well, one thing about the tanks is you can do reactive armor. So what if you were to develop another hexagon piece on top? So you end up sandwiching these different types of armor technologies. The top one being some sort of reactive armor that that will explode. So you have a projectile that comes through and it explodes and kind of messes up that projectile. So we're thinking of different types of armor technologies, and that's something that could be deployed on these particular uh, vehicles. Yeah, I guess you could say they're a vehicle. I wonder if you could put this on a wheel and put some sort of autonomous drive. Can it was a three-wheeler. I guess it'll have to be like, for example, on a turntable. You could have a big um, Mars Curiosity style wheel. I guess you could say a 3D printed wheel on some sort of turntable, so each one can kind of pivot and steer. So you could end up having this triangle shaped vehicle that moves. That'd be interesting. Um, yeah, that'd be interesting. So anyway, still with this basic shape, you can design a four, a more friendly four-wheel type vehicle frame that this triangular frame can put on top of. And what I like about doing this type of multi-level type stuff is that you do have this very unique modular look to the equipment. So it's not like many science fiction artwork where it's nice and, I don't want to say smooth, but it becomes a mix match. So it looks very manufactured. And if you think about it, it does have a nice aesthetic, or can be a nice aesthetic if done right. So anyway, where I left off was, here's the turret part. So you can kind of rotate it here. The idea being that I wanted the turret part here to be off of the turret directly, so that way equipment can have a better pivot point and they can point down. And not only that, but having this particular bar on top, I can mount other stuff to it. And so I can mount a weapon thing in the front. So I was anyway. If you're going to be doing all of this with weapons, what kind of weapon would you want? Some sort of energy-based weapon, so it doesn't really rely on ammunition. That may be good for a Sentinel type platform that needs to be left for a long time without having to be resupplied. So it's maybe like a particle projection beam, or a laser type thing, or some sort of hybrid where you have the particles traveling along the projection beam. Something in, if it's a particle projection, that could be effectively unlimited ammo. You still have to have a supply, but the supply doesn't have to be very big. Smaller bitty particles being shot at, shot from, or projected from. So I don't know. I want to continue this right now, live on screen, and at the same time, I know that's not everyone's thing. That not everyone's eager to watch me work on CAD, because it gets kind of boring or dry. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to do this. So I don't know. Okay, so I think I will for a little bit, because I am eager to do that. So anyway, I think I will. And so if you have questions, just maybe I should do like let's see, this thing has banners, like for example, this, please like and subscribe. Maybe I could do another banner. You know, leaving comments or something like that, and I'll get around to them when I can. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I'm really thinking about doing this on the screen. I think I will. So if you're not into watching me do CAD, I apologize, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I'll leave this banner up for the moment. And while I work on this, I'll try something different. So here I go. Bring it up to SolidWorks. You get to see me work. Okay. New stuff. So yeah, the conspiracy things for DioWarriors, you know, it's being designed. It's a little bit on the slow side at the moment. But we are working with some extremely talented artists. So I'm not too keen on pushing them, you know, because, you know, it's different than designing an astronaut. It's different than designing a human in that astronaut suit. You know, we're also dealing with aliens and alien tech, and that's not easy to come up with a fresh design. It's easy to say, yeah, here's some bioweapons from this particular game or that particular movie. I want my weapons to look like this, to look like that. And yeah, that part is easy. But if you're doing it from scratch and you're trying to make it look very unique, that takes a lot of creative talent. And fortunately, we have access to that creative talent. Unfortunately, just like what I expressed at the beginning of this video, there's you know, you can drain yourself of that creative talent. You know, it's like a writer has writer's block, an artist has, I don't know, the creativity block. And it's easy to fall into that block. So the worst thing to do is to push, you know, come on, let's go, let's get it. Is it ready yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You know, I don't like working like that. I don't want to, you know, I don't want any of my associates to be under the gun like that either. No. Doing action figures and toys should be a good experience for everyone involved. You know, this is fun for me, and I want that to be fun for everyone else, the customers, the designers, the people who are going to be doing the factory level stuff. Yeah, I want everything to be fun. Because at the end of the day, too, I want them to say, yeah, working with DioWarriors was a fantastic experience. Let's work with DioWarriors again. So I want that to be true as well. You know, so those are my thoughts on that. So now let's see. This thing is going to be printed upside down. Okay, it's going to be one part. So I'm going to try to whatchamacallit, I'm going to try to greebleize a little bit on the stuff here. Let's see. Sketch. I am going to. Do I have to do on both sides? Well, here's something I'm going to kind of, I don't want to say cheat, but I am going to make it a little bit easier for me. So here. Let's see, how is this going to be? This might be a little bit, let's do this. This might be a little bit challenging there, watch. Because this part is a curve. Oh, but it's not curved everywhere. Okay, never mind. So yeah, I can go here. I can go here. I can come up to here. I am going to go right to there. I see birds outside my window. It looks like crows or something like that. Just they're on. I'm on the 5th floor here, and it's directly with the flat top roof on top. And the crows are landing along the edge, and they're looking down directly into my window. I don't know if they can see me or not. At least it's not raven, because if it was a raven, and being close to Halloween, it's too much Edgar Allan Poe for me. So I'm going to do a center line here because I'm going to mirror these sides. It's not quite 90 degrees. I want this 90. Good. Okay, now what I'm going to do is do an offset. In other words, I'm going to make a second line. And I want the second line to be, let's say, what's a good thickness? 1.5? Okay, that's 1.5 right there. Yeah, that's not bad. Look at that. Just thinking. I do this a lot. I'll see a thing on the screen, with my hand in front of my eyes. I'm just tracing with my fingers how the line will be. So if you see me do this a lot, I'm not going crazy. So I'm going to accept this. The trouble spot that I see here is going to be this part in terms of the aesthetics, but we'll see how that goes. SolidWorks is giving me a warning about this because there's 2 lines that have disappeared, this line and that line. So I'm just going to say delete, and I'm just going to say extend just in case, and then I'll go back and trim this off. Make sure there's no gap by extending and then trimming. And then I'm going to make a mirror of this. Well, yeah, I'll make a mirror now. Boom, the other side. Now I'm going to do what's called an extrusion. And I'm going to say I want this about 1.5 millimeters off the surface, like that. So what surface? This surface. So then I could play around with the direction. If I want to make it below the surface, which would be here, or I want to make it the other side of the surface. So that's 1.5, but I'm going from the middle section here, so I have to make a little bit more. Oh no, this is 0.5. So 1.5 from the surface. Okay, then it's going to say, okay, that's better. Look at that. Maybe it's too much. What do you think? 1 millimeter, and then this side, direction 2. Also say 1 millimeter offset from the surface. Reverse offset. And then make sure the measurement is right. Voila. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little thingy right here. Just a little undercut. Here. I could go all the way. I could say offset 0.25. Boom. And then I'm going to do this. And yeah, I really need to get another monitor. I don't like dual monitors. I don't like to have any obstruction in my view, but I need to be able to see if people are dropping comments. Because right now I got this window completely covering everything. So I'll do another mirror line. And then I'm going to mirror this. Is it 90 degrees? Yeah, 90 degrees. Okay, mirror. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking about next year's Joe Fest and thinking about the rest of the VSS that I'm working on. And but I'm thinking of maybe try a different approach. So I'm thinking of displaying progress to the VSS in sections. Gonna sneeze. I want this only 0.5 millimeter. Excuse me. And I want it this direction. And I want to do the same thing on this side. Sketch, sketch, Control V. Features, extruded cut. Okay. And now I'm going to go right here. And we'll sketch, sketch. Make a small one right there. From here to here. Features, extruded cut. Do the same. Just going to go, not even looking at it. And this. Same thing. So next year's Joe Fest, what I'm thinking about is taking the VSS as modular components instead of displaying one big, huge item. I was thinking of separate components to get the point across of how modular it can be. Of course, I'll be putting things together as one big unit. But I probably will do that here, maybe. So that way y'all get to see pictures and things like that. But for the actual display, I'm thinking of separate rather than one big. And so I'm thinking of, of different components. And there's another reason why I'm thinking of that too, is also dealing with conspiracy. Because we are not doing just small vehicles. We're going to be offering bigger stuff. But I don't want to say too much on that. Because, like I was saying on the last video, there's a lot of people who will try to take your ideas and market it as their own. So, see, I'm wondering about this right here, these areas. Like if I were to go chamfer, I'm just guessing at the moment. How? Okay, that's so maybe just one. Yeah, so it's just 1 millimeter, huh? Okay. So that's just 1 millimeter right there. So yeah, not everyone is on your side, when you're doing business. And I think I got burned a little bit. And I get excited. And I want to talk and share ideas and brainstorm and shoot ideas and see how things work. Hey, that looks a little bit nicer. Looks a little bit more tech as well. I'm going to do the same thing for this here. Maybe not. Almost look like 90 degrees, huh? Oh, come on, get out of my way. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe not. Maybe not there. I'll do that in design, as a sketch, I mean. Yeah, maybe I could do it like this. Watch. Watch. Let me do it in the middle as well, like I did here. So, gotta click this. Gotta go sketch. I don't know if I say 1. Okay, so see, 1 millimeter is just going to be too small, but I guess it will work. So, very exciting, this part. Designing with bated breath. Maybe that should be a series. Video series. Designing props with bated breath. Okay, what I want to do is sketch. Let's do from here. 1. Then come down 45 degrees, which would be about like that. And yes, it's a bit shallow. Maybe I need to do a little bit more, because I like the way this is, this line. So 1.41, which is about like that, huh? So let's just copy this, paste. Let's do it in such a way where, let's try that. It seems like it wants to snap right there. So let's see if there's anything. Actually, and extend this line. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. So let's say vertically. Actually, I don't need to do anything with this one. Okay. And then just copy this, mirror. There. Look at that. Oh, I don't need to copy this yet. Now let's make a mirror for the other side. and then copy, and then flip the model over. No, I won't have to flip the model over since we're doing this in the middle anyway. So go mirror entities. What do I want to mirror about? This line. Okay. Now I'm going to go features, extruded boss, and I'm going to say I want up to the surface. I want this sketch to be extruded up to that surface, and the same thing for the other side. Up to surface. What surface? That surface. Boom. I think SolidWorks is one of the easiest 3D CAD programs I've ever worked with. And I've been working with, first of all, I've been working with CAD programs ever since Autodesk version 3. And I've been doing 3D stuff since the late 90s. Don't really remember what year, 97 maybe? But I really got into 3D, really. Think around 1999, really, because that's when I started to really get into 3D rendering. So I was using all sorts of different programs to develop 3D models for the rendering. Simple things, complex things, sometimes using this program, sometimes using others. Let's see. Now, one more thing I want to do with all of this is I want to greeblize all of this stuff. I want to make it look like, I'll do it for the middle again, same technique. So let me save this. Okay, save. I'm going to go to the front. See, I want to add things to make it look like it's been assembled. So I want to add little greebles here and there, brackets, screw points. So let's say right here, I'm going to add something right here. So let's say, what's nice for this thing? What's a nice, get the caliper out. Between 3 or 4 millimeters. Let's say 4 millimeters. Oh, quite a bit. Look at that. Maybe let's make this one 3 millimeters. Okay. And just need this about 1 millimeter. Okay. I'm going to copy this and just simply paste it. Yeah, so I've been doing 3D design for quite a while now. And okay. Yep. Yeah, quite a while now. When I was studying at LSU, I got into doing things with virtual worlds, specifically, back in the 1990s, when internet was being deployed all around. universities were being among the first to get into the internet stuff. So yeah, you did have things like bulletin board services, BBSs, during those days. BBSs going back to the 1960s, and you had telnets, and you used to remote into using telnet into a BBS service, and then you would, some companies would have a bulletin board service, a BBS, for their employees. And then later on, you started to, as people bought modems and they were putting their computers to modems, they wanted to do more things with their modems. And so companies were extending customer support, not all of them, but some of them, to basically how we use the web these days for company information. So, like, for example, I think it was 5th generation systems, before Norton bought them out. They had a nice bulletin board. I don't remember what software they used to do, security software of some sort. And we used to go to PC Magazine. I don't know if it was the same publisher. I think that was Davis Publishing or Jeff Davis Publishing. I'm not sure, but there was a big magazine for computer classified type stuff, and it was a big thing, and it was thick too, and the called Computer Shopper. And on the back pages of Computer Shopper were lists of public bulletin board services that you could dial into. So, growing up in the 80s, one of the popular movies was one called War Games. I know there's been like a remake or something like that recently, but this was the original War Games, and it was good for its time. And one of the scenes in there is the actor running what's called a war program, where it's a list of phone numbers, and you set up the computer to just dial these numbers one after the other, testing the numbers.
This might answer your question. United States calling code is +1.
Computer, stop. The wake word triggered this thing on. So it was called a war program. And so what a war program typically would do is take one list of phone numbers, in this case, run it through the modem software. If there was a positive pickup, in other words, if the remote number was answered by a computer, then the program will move that number to a separate list. And then all the numbers that were not answered by a computer will be discarded, or at least put into a list so you don't go back and try the same list again, not knowing that you're dialing the same numbers again. So at the end of the day, you'll have a collection of numbers that were answered by a computer. And then you can go back later on to test those numbers for, what kind of computer and things like that. So, these are the early days of, I don't want to say hacking, because it wasn't necessarily a hacking tool, not for something like that. But that's what the guy is doing in the movie. And so you can test and see what companies had bulletin boards. For example, some of them would have, basically you just had to connect, and sometimes you didn't even need any type of login. You could just go in and have access to companies, whatever. There'll be like a list of files, and you're able to read these files, like customer support policy, um, or employee phone numbers. So if you wanted to get in touch with a particular employee, you could go to there, and none of these things would be like secret. These were systems designed for the public to go in much the same way as the World Wide Web is these days. So sometimes there will be a chat room and you can do live chat. Sometimes employees will live chat with customers or other employees, or sometimes it'll just be customers chatting with other customers. And this is very much what we have these days with websites where you do have forums. So back then, things like Discord and stuff like that, that was going on since the 70s, since the 80s, really, and since the 80s, really. So it's so a lot of stuff that you see these days are just repackaged. That's that old saying, everything old is new again. That's basically what we see here. So anyways, when it came to doing things back in my university, LSU back then was getting involved with internet stuff, and they were making things available for their students. So a lot of stuff were very simple back then. Web pages were basically a gray background, very simple design, but everyone was learning how to do HTML, including me. And a few years passes, and then you end up having other standards based on the hypertext markup that HTML has. You end up having VRML type stuff. So you're able to design 3D objects and incorporate them into a web page, and with a browser that was capable of it, such as the Microsoft Internet Explorer, for example, you were able to view a 3D object. And so these were virtual worlds of using the VRML page format, I guess you could say. Keep things simple. Very similar to HTML. And all of this was before XML and things like that developing, but mirror entities. So very interesting times back then, pioneering a lot of the 3D tech that we see these days. So that was just a little bit down memory lane for me. Offset from surface here. Let's offset this about, let's say 3 millimeters. Reverse offset. Could be a little bit more, but we'll see. We'll see how this works out. Same things on this other side, around 3 millimeters. And we want to do offset from surface. We want to say this surface, and we want to say reverse offset. So that's how this is going to look. Save this, and I want to do one more little thing also in the middle, kind of like to help flesh this out. So back then, there was no Google. Back then, it was Yahoo was being among the first. But before Yahoo, you had other services that had nothing to do with web page searches. It was other kinds of search engines. Well, I don't want to say search engines, but it kind of like based off of the bulletin board motif. he had something called Gopher. And so Gopher was very similar to like a very elaborate bulletin board service. So if I make this 2 millimeters, would that be too much? Let's make this 1 millimeter. Might be too little, but this is probably good enough for now. Right at the end, right at the edge. I don't quite like that. So let's do this. I'm going to make copy. I'm going to copy this. Copy. Now, first of all, I'm going to trim this one a little bit for the aesthetics. Not only that, but for future growth. I have ideas I want to do in this particular area, and I don't want this thing I'm sketching out right now to obstruct. So they had Gopher back then, and I remember searching text files, like a bunch of text files for certain topics, and he had all sorts of topics, everything from people posting fictional writing to like help manuals. Everything was available on, using Gopher. And then, from there, things begins to expand. I don't want to do, so let's try 0.5 millimeter on this one. Something like that. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to make center line right here. Also, I want to make sure it's 90 degrees. Yes, it is. Okay. And then I'm just going to block this in, mirror this. Do the same thing, do an offset from that surface. What's a good offset? Offset from surface. Can we do 1 millimeter? Reverse direction. Let's see. Maybe let's try 0.5. Might be too shallow. What do you think? Let's try 0.75. I like to do these in 0.25 increments. Let's try this for now. It's we could always adjust it easily before printing. Offset from surface 0.75. What surface? This surface right there. Okay, and then reverse the direction right there. Okay, let's try this. So this is part of greebalizing this thing here. Save it. Let's take a look how this is going to look on the overall model. Yes, I want to update it. Okay, so the overall model has this particular detail there. So if you're ever looking at it like this, we have a close-up of a camera, and you have a figure in front, you're going to have some details to look at. Yeah. Now, what I will do with this before wrapping that part up is I'm going to do some, some undercuts here. Easy way for me is just to select the entire surface. It does an outline automatically. I just say is change direction to there. 0.25 is the offset. And then I can select offset again, but this time I select this select chain, and I can select one item, and then it selects all the chain of those entities. And then, just select as is. Then center line. Make sure it's 90 degrees. Yes, it is. And mirror. Now I'm going to copy this. Copy. Now I'm going to do extruded cut. I don't remember what's the thickness of the item below. But let's make this undercut 0.5. And do the same thing for this. Sketch, sketch, paste. And that features and extrude cut. Okay, kept the settings from before, so I did good. Okay. So, now what else I'm going to do with it is I am going to do a small little fillet of 0.25 along the surface here, on the surface there, flip it to the other side, there, and there as well. Now, let's see, also to continue the beautification of this part is I will, do I want to greeblize this? Oh, not greeblize, sorry. Instead of fillets, if I do want to chamfer this, 1 millimeter might be too much. Yeah, look at that, that's too much. Can do 0.5 millimeter. One thing that's nice about doing all of this virtually first is that you go in, make adjustments before committing. And that reminds me, there's another thing that's going on at DioWarriors. And that thing is called virtual reality. And what we're gearing up for is to design all of our projects in a virtual environment to begin with. That sounds really elaborate, but essentially, if you think about it, everything we do with SolidWorks, that's our primary 3D sculpting program. Everything we do, everything is compliant for virtual reality. So that means that this part that you see right here is not my intent to make this compatible for virtual reality, okay? However, as far as I know, what I'm doing here is compliant, because SolidWorks is a program already designed for doing virtual worlds, virtual objects for those virtual worlds. Now, to take this 3D object and to make it usable inside of a virtual environment, I would have to convert it. But this is the nice thing. SolidWorks is one of those programs that the parent company, Dassault Systems, is very active in making their software virtual reality compliant. So I've seen a video about 4 months old, I just saw it recently, where the virtual object, the CAD object being designed, goes into a plugin for the software, and the plugin saves it into the proper format. So all you would have to do is click Save As, and then choose the format, and it'll convert it into the format appropriate for virtual reality. So in other words, I don't have to do anything. All I would have to do is just download it from the company. Download this program, this plugin. So that means that it should be very easy. Should be, fingers crossed, to get something like the Microsoft HoloLens, and basically use it for 3D design in a virtual environment. I say, with my fingers crossed like that, because there's still things that I'm finding out, but and of course, you know how it is. Nothing is ever that easy, in reality. But so far, what I've seen, the videos that I've seen online showing these, showing how easy it is, it actually is easy. And so I'm excited about that, because I would love to design this entire satellite structure. I still call it satellite, some sort of planetary platform. This thing, I would love to, design it wearing the Microsoft HoloLens, see a virtual this on my desktop right here, where I can take a Joe figure or a Marauder figure or something, and I can put it right next to that virtual object. So a physical figure right next to the virtual object, and I can see, or I can tinker around with the measurements, things like that. I can see how it would look, how it could be. If I design a chair that way, I can, bend the figure and hold the figure, on the chair, and I can see how it kind of would be before committing to 3D printing that object. So in other words, could design an entire base and a vehicle or something with lots of objects, and I could test everything first to see how things might be before committing. And that will come in very handy on doing something like the VSS with the MDF wood part. I could design a thing, virtually put it next to the MDF wood, and see how it will look before spending 3 hours printing that part. So it will be a time saver. So don't be surprised if in a year or two or something like that, start advertising and saying, hey, look, DioWarriors design things, in a virtual environment. You see me like Iron Man, like Tony Stark doing things. Maybe one of these videos I'll be like, with the glasses in front, and I'll be like doing this, doing that, with my hand or something. Maybe there's a glove or something on there. And that'd be weird. But it's funny too, but you can kind of see. It'd be kind of cool. Okay, what else can we do to make this interesting? Well, we can change this bar from looking so rectangular and make it a little bit more interesting. For example, if I make this 2 millimeters, how would that look? Too little. Make it 4 millimeters. How would that look? Yeah, it looks a bit better. Maybe 3 millimeters would have been the magic number. It's 3. Let's try. Okay, so let's also maybe this would be better if I rounded instead of making this angular. Maybe I can round these. So fillet. Try 0.5. One would be too much. Look at that. Well, but 1 might actually work. Let's try 0.75. 0.75. Okay. Here, here, here. Here, here. Yeah, so that'd be cool if I could find all these things virtually. And so that is something that we're going for. And the system that I'm working on right now is the hardware is already compliant for it. I have other expenses first to get out of the way, such as getting the conspiracy figures done first. Yeah. But sometime after, I think, maybe I'll be able to get like the Microsoft HoloLens and start messing around with that. So I'm going to select OK on this. I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to select it again with this fillet. I'm going to see. Can't do anything there. How about this? Oh. 0.75. This one should probably be 0.5. Yeah, something like that. Instead of angular, rounded might be better. Okay. And instead of doing like screw placements, maybe I can kind of draw attention that this could be welded in place. These bracket-like things. So maybe I could do a little bit of like this, kind of showing like it's welded or something like that. 0.5, would that be too much or too little? Let's see if I go 0.25. Ideally, I would love to take a 3D pen and just kind of, bleed a little bit of a line in between and kind of like move it around like that to give it that welding look to it, rather than be so smooth like this. But since I don't have a 3D pen, maybe I should get one, huh? Time is really moving quickly. It moves quickly when I have fun. And I really appreciate you guys being here watching, because this is fun and I kind of enjoy sharing the fun, you know. And oh, okay. Any comments? Hey, no comments. Blast. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I should not say leave a comment. Okay, let's see. Go back to the screen. Okay. I want to, some of these items I want to round. Too much, too little. I need to go more. 0.5, maybe 0.75. Something. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thought have some interference, but no, it's actually working. Right here. Oh, can't. It's up against that wall. Okay, there. Here. Here and here. Maybe I didn't have to do this fillet right there. Maybe I could have just, this chamfer, maybe I could have just done a fillet. Oh, well. Haha, here's something else I can do. Let's see. Insert, reference geometry, plane. Okay, I want to do, let's say, is it 2 millimeters in? Would that be too much? Flip the offset. Let's try 1 millimeters in. 1. Okay. I'm going to go to the top, this view here, top view. I don't want to do that. Discarded. Exit. Sketch. Make sure I'm selecting that. Okay, go back to here. So let's try, well, that was 1 millimeter there. No, I don't think this is necessary. Cancel that. And let's delete this plane. Yes. Okay, I'm thinking I'm done for now. But I'm not done for everything. I think I'm just done for now. I want to do something on the surface of this box item. Maybe I think I'll make this one flushed right now to the outer edge right here. Oh, that reminds me. What I want to do is do some cuts on this beam, but maybe I don't need to do it just yet. I want to do like easy ways to do the offset. So if I go sketch, I go offset, say 0.5. Okay, I'm selecting the outline here. Not what I wanted, but don't want to do it over again. Okay. Okay. Right there. Okay. What I want to do, you've seen this technique, I've done it already. Select the offset entities again. Select chain. This time I want to do base geometry. I want it to be a construction geometry, so it's this outline is ignored. I just take the inner outline that I'm doing. I'm going to copy. Well, let's see. Before I copy it, let me make a line. I want this to be a construction line at 90 degrees. Yeah, 90 degrees for construction. Okay. I'm going to extend it all the way. I'm going to copy this and paste it to the other side. Copy. Now I'm going to extrude this before pasting it to the other side. 2 millimeters? Yeah, 2 millimeters looks good. It might be a bit too much. 1.5. Let's try that. Okay. And I'll explain why in just a moment. Let me go sketch, paste, and I'll explain why I'm doing this madness. Right there. Features. Okay. Boom. Okay, so I want to make like some sort of hatch cover for accessing the internals. Whatever internals could this be? I don't know. This could be, maybe it's a fuse box. So I want to access. I want to be able to have like some sort of door or hatch that gives the impression that there's stuff inside. So this is not going to be an opening hatch. This is just something that's going to give the impression that there's more to it. Maybe that's a bit much. Maybe 0.5, just half a millimeter. It's kind of small. Do the same thing for this side. I'm going to have to do a little piece on the inside here because when this prints, it's going to be an overhang. So I don't want to do an overhang. So I'm going to have to do something. Now this is going to make it a little bit on the toyish side, but it's going to have to be done. So no way to get around it. But until I get to that point, let me do another fillet of just 0.25, and this will better define the separation between these two halves. Okay. Now the part I don't quite like is going to have to be this. Let me go right there. Go sketch, sketch. Go on sketch. This to here. I'm curious, what's the thickness? Not even 1 millimeter. Wow. Okay. I might be able to break it off. You know, once it prints, I might be able to just break it off. Center line. I'm going to make a mirror of that. So copy this, mirror the thing there, features. So you can imagine this part being a support structure that will support the overhang part so it doesn't sag. That's quite a bit of an overhang, and it will look ugly when I print it. So I need to do something that will support it. So offset from surface. No, I don't want to offset. Instead, I want to go up to surface. Which surface? This one. There, make it the same. And direction 2, do the same command up to the surface to here. Boom. Okay. And now I want to do fillet 0.5 and do the fillet for this area behind here. I feel like making some Allen screws on that. Maybe the thing could be welded as well as screwed in. You know, screwed in and then welded, so it doesn't ever screw out. Okay, let's see. I want to do some cuts here. Sketch. Center line. I'm going to say 2 millimeters. Yeah. Let's see, 4, so 2 millimeters each side, so 4. Bidirectional. Okay, right there. End caps, I want lines here. Now I'm going to do center line. So that way I can mirror this. Mirror entities. I am getting tired, so I will be stopping shortly. So if you watched the video this far, great. I really appreciate it. Features, extrude cut. Can I say 1.5? I think this is 2 millimeters. No, it's already. Oh, no, it is 1.5. Okay. Then let's do chamfer here. So it's going to print like this. What size chamfer do I want? 1. Let's give a little bit of a tech look. Okay, let's try this. See how this goes. Hey, so far I'm liking it. Now the last things is I'm going to round 0.25. Round this entire structure here. I could select more faces and round it, but if I have to go back and suppress a part or something like that, it's a little bit easier when not everything is affected. Okay, almost done. I am feeling tired. I think I'll get myself something to drink. Okay. Oh yeah. Very important. I want this also to be rounded. And to help give it strength, I want this to be rounded as well. Now for the aesthetics, I want all of this to be rounded. So for that, I'm just going to select the entire surface here. Okay. And do I need to round this? Yeah, let's try to see how this looks rounded. Nope, wrong item. Okay. There, surface. Oh, nothing was affected. Okay, so select that. Instead, I can select this. Select the edges. You know what I miss and feel like having? A vegetable soup. One with lots of thick vegetables, potato, carrots, things like that. Kind of like a chicken vegetable soup. You know, maybe a little bit of chicken inside. And it's like my mom used to make some very, very, very good vegetable soup. It was like with chicken, or just remove the chicken and but man, it was really, really good. And so I'm gonna make this rounded, but I don't need to do tangent. I think it still wants to do okay. Rats. Something's affecting it from. Me. 0.2. Now, okay, like that. Instead, because this is an overhang, let's try a different approach. Let's make this. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so this will work. 0.25. Can I do here too? Yeah. It's because this is going to be printed upside down. I don't want overhangs to be without any type of support. So I'm putting these fillets to act like an arch. The thing is that there's more surface here. So let's see if I can add a fillet to here. Okay, look at that. This, I'll go for it. Yeah, it might make it a little bit ugly, but at the same time, it does give an impression of being manufactured. You know, not everything is going to look, you know, perfectly good. There's always going to be some sort of flaw or something like that, and you're left wondering, well, how come they didn't do it like this? Yeah. Okay, so something like that. Do I need to round those or keep them straight? 0.25. Yeah, round everything. Why not? Huh? The machine is doing the work. So yeah, I'm almost done. Yeah, so I was thinking of my mom's chicken vegetable soup. It's been too long. I used to know how to make it, but you know, a strange thing is that once my mom passed away, suddenly, boom, all the cooking stuff that I learned to do from her suddenly just vanished as well. The the imagination of the taste is still there. I remember it. I remember the taste still there, but the instruction on how to do it was committed to memory. So you know, sometimes I would help out. I'll do some cooking, and I'll do do the soup thing, get that started, things like that. But once she left, suddenly it's like I no longer remember anything. You know, it's really weird. I don't think I'm going to have an issue with overhangs on this. There might be some, but I'm trusting that this point and this point, that the distance between them are not that so great that by the time it does want to do some sagging, it's already finishing the the length as it extrudes across. Okay, I think I want to do stuff with the hatch, but I don't know if I'm going to do the hatch with like some sort of pull handle or something with a like a regular handle. Maybe a pull type handle would be better, and maybe that might be better for the top here, an item, a structure here, something to indicate like, or maybe it should be off the side, like, or maybe I could do. I could do handles. Ah, let me see, because I could do the handles. I could make the handles look a little bit on the heavy duty side, so to make it look like you could just pull the hatches, uh, pull it completely off, lay it down, have complete, access to work on whatever's on the inside, and then put the thing back on. You know, if an astronaut is working out on the field like that, if it's not floating around in orbit, maybe no, but if it is floating around in orbit, then you don't want to have something that pulls off like that. You want to have it like a hinge opens up, maybe something locks into place. Could have one handle and then something that looks like a hinge. I want to go because it's about to be 3, but I want to get this done too. So let me try this. Let me try this real fast because it's going to be printed from the top, from here. So insert reference geometry plane. Try 3 millimeters. Go the other direction. I can always adjust this. Let's try here. So I'll go select it, change the view to there. I don't know what side I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to need a line. Just going to try to eyeball this about. So let's see. What will be better? Open it from the left side or from the right? Maybe work with the hands, close it. Well, what's more natural for an astronaut out on the field? Well, maybe he'll have his tool on his right hand, so maybe he'll open it from his left. Access. So let's put this handle. I'm going to work with this one as 3 millimeters. Okay, it's a bit much. So maybe right there. Yes. I'll have this thing go out a little bit. Maybe as an offset. Don't want to do bidirectional. Don't want to do base geometry. 2 millimeters go out. Yeah, let's try 2 millimeters. Okay. Let's try this. Let's try this. I'm just thinking real fast. Other direction. Let's make this. If we go 4 millimeters, how would that look? Maybe 3. Let's try 3. Yeah, let's try this. Let's try this. I can always make the adjustment. Now here, I want to make another insert reference geometry plane. That was 3 millimeters there. So let's make this 1.5. Go in half. The other direction. There. Yeah, this is good. Sketch. I don't think I'm going to make this rounded. This will be the actual handle. So let's say it comes out like this. So let's say 3 millimeters here. If it was 45 degrees, it'd be like that. Let's try 45. 2 millimeters. I don't need to do end caps. Reverse direct. Oh, that's 2 millimeters there. This is going to be tight. 1.5, only 5 millimeters. Now I'm running out of space, huh? Maybe I should consider a plan B. I am going to make this right here to get it like that kind of shape. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to have to copy all of this and do it to the other side, but let's try this out on one side first. And I'll probably do the other side off camera later because I am getting tired. Features. That was 3 millimeters. Can I just say 2? Can I just go say 2 millimeters and do mid plane? How would this look? $1.5. That is 1.7. Oh yeah, what if I did 1.75? Would that be 2? That might work. It has to be a little bit thick so the printers won't have a problem. Now let me go to this one here and go sketch, sketch. And I'm going to make my adjustment. Oh, come on. Okay, right there. So let's say 0.75. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah. No. So let's try this right there. So where's 45 degrees? Right there. I like it that it likes to lock into place at 45-degree angles. I need to trim this piece off. Now I want to extend this. Okay. Now I want to trim the rest of it off. Something like this. I don't need to copy it. Not yet. Features, extruded cut. Up to surface right there. And over here, up to surface right here. Now what I want to do here is to make this a little bit rounded. That was 0.75. 0.5. Let's try that. Yeah, that's going to work, I think. I'm going to come back to this in just a bit. I want to do this first, this other item first. Select that plane there. Go sketch, sketch. Go do this. And kind of well, we'll go 1 millimeter. It's going to go like that. So either I can have it go all the way like this to here. Make a cut. Yeah, let's do that. Or I can do it like that. Huh? Let's do like this. A nice cut. And there, and then trim this. Right there. Okay. So here is the thought, because it's such a small space there. It's not quite believable, if a figure can't even put their fingers through. So I'm going to try to make like a cutaway into the hatch for the figure to put their fingers through to open this. So extrude cut. I'm going to go all the way to this surface. And direction 2, I am just going to make it maybe 2 millimeters. Okay, unfortunately there are some overhangs on this and I don't like that. Oh gosh, yeah, look at this. Because this is going to be printed, that's going to be the bottom, so it's going to be printed like this. Okay, so this is fine. This is fine because there's no overhang at all. This is fine. There's no overhang there. Because it goes in like that. This is nothing but overhang. So I'm going to have to like cut away this area or add something. Maybe I needed to do the other direction. Yeah, that's real bad. So let's go the other direction. Which essentially is a mirror. So let's put that part. Select this as the mirror. Select what we're going to mirror. So we want to mirror around this line, and this is the object that we want to mirror. And then we're going to trim up. Going to trim. Yeah, okay, good. This off. And just in case I want to undo this, which I don't think I will, but just in case, I'll put it as a construction line. And oh yeah, look at that. And I want to trim this. Okay. Okay. Good. So let's round some more parts. 0.5, that's 5. We can round all of this. Here and here. Here and here. So it's a heavy-duty handle type thing. And I'm just going to round things a bit more. You know, I want it to look strong. I want it to look like it's not going to break apart at the first sight of combat. That's the reason why I make it so bulky like this. 0. And I may go back and do a different kind of hatch, because part of me doesn't quite like the handle idea. Yeah, part of me doesn't quite like the handle idea. Maybe one side has the handle and the other side has the other idea. Maybe I'll do something like that instead. So let's make this 1 millimeter, make it more curvy. I can leave that on the other side alone. And that's because this is just a simple fixed handle. It's not like a doorknob handle, you know, where you gotta bend it or twist it or something to open. This is just simply going to be for pulling. we can round things and make things a little bit more making it look more like it's one piece. Okay, and now for aesthetics, I'm just going to select all that. And I think I'm done. The only thing I gotta do left is make like a hinge part, which is basically is going to be 3 cylinders, or a cylinder with two cuts, rounded, so it looks like, so it's going to look like it has like 2 cylinders, and then so it's like like a typical hinge. I'll do something like that. Now, if I were really designing this for well, maybe I should design it for combat. But the thing is that, well, I could do it simpler. I could design the hinge like it's a hinge for an offshore oil platform. Now, with offshore oil platforms, you don't want salt water getting into the hinge mechanics because that can cause problems. So the way the hinges on those things are designed, it's a series of flat plates. There's no actual hinge, but doors open, and it looks like it's an armored door. I mean, there's no hinge, there's no pin on the hinge to remove. It's a series of like aluminum cuts, done in a certain way, where everything kind of interlocks, but you can still open it. It's still flexible. It's really interesting to see. And I used to work at an automated door company, and they used to design everything from revolving doors to doors with pressure points, so people with different kinds of handicaps, or not even that, just you have your hands full, and you're carrying a load, and you want to be able to hit a button or step on a mat, and the door would open or slide open, swing open or slide open. It was a very high-tech feel of a place. It wasn't really high-tech in terms of the work environment. I'll give you an example. The computers, the tables for the computers were just old wooden doors. No detail, no sculpting, just a plain wooden door put onto 2 filing cabinets. Because they were large, wide doors, therefore the desks were extremely wide. Very strong, durable, very, very durable doors. They made excellent desks. And, unpainted, just raw wood on top of a filing cabinet, just, a 2-drawer filing cabinet. Excellent. It's like one of the perfect desks for computer stuff I had ever worked with. Nowadays, they want to come up with drawers for the keyboards that slide in. That just gets in my way. Especially if the desk itself is a little bit low, my knees are going to be hitting it. So, but this was like the perfect desk for a computer. But everything else in that place was high tech in terms of the doors. You walk into, in different rooms, different doors. So you walk into the computer area. The doors will swing open one way. You go to another room. It's glass door, slide in. It has that nice Cylon Battlestar Galactica sound of glass sliding against glass. Other doors would have like a mat you stepped on, and that would open up a different way. Revolving door for something else, and so there was a lot of aluminum extrusion and door assembly and things like that going on. It was a very interesting place to work at. And but those were days long ago. And one of the interesting things was coming across a hinge for an offshore oil platform's door. And that, I mean, it was just a section, just to illustrate, nothing but aluminum, no hinge, but it would open. It was really, really strange. So maybe I'll do something like that, which would be simple to do. I would just put a rectangle, and that's it, So that would be simple to do. Yeah, that makes better sense to do also. Let me just round this part. Okay. I think I am done for now. So let's see how this will look. Save. Yes. So rotate all this around. I don't know. Honestly, I don't like it. I think I'll get rid of this. This handle, I think I'll get rid of it. I may leave the cutout. I think what I'm going to do is just make a raised area on the surface here. And sculpt that raised area to make it look like some sort of pull handle. It's like you pull it like a car door or something. You pull it. I mean, I'll do it like that instead. I don't like the way this is actually looking on the whole structure. Yeah. Nope. It's not going to stay. Okay. Well, folks, thanks for watching. I am going to, well, everything is saved. I'm going to go ahead and close the files. I'll continue with this later. Don't know if I'll do it on camera or off. But I'm going to head out now. And I gotta run an errand. Stop screen. So I really thank you guys for watching watching me work on this. And if you're curious about SolidWorks and things, I'll try to answer questions if you have any. And when it comes to 3D, printing and laser cutting and all that, just feel free to ask. And well, that's it for now. Okay, folks, thanks, and I'll catch y'all later. Hey, bye-bye.